Hey guys, Zergs here. At the end of my last video, I mentioned I wanted to make another video regarding some of the macros that I use for Fury Prot Tanking, as well as the tanking rotation. So without further ado, let's jump in. Alright guys, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time here. It's going to be a pretty quick video. The first thing that I highly recommend is for all of your raiders to download Details Damage Meter, as well as the Tiny Threat Meter. We require all of our raiders to have this and have it updated before any of our raids to make sure that all of the numbers are accurate and it doesn't throw off any of the threat when you're taking a boss. The next add-on that I recommend is a weapon swing timer. The reason for the weapon swing timer is one of the macros that we utilize, and it's a heroic strike macro with a stop cast attached to it. You're kind of reading the weapon swing timer and having your heroic strike charged up until last second, and you click the macro again, it'll stop the cast of heroic strike, but it'll allow for your offhand and main hand to attack anyways. This just kind of mitigates that 24%, roughly 24% offhand miss chance. It brings it back down to that 6%, which if you're hit capped, you will, be able to hit every time with your offhand. It's not so much useful in BWL threat tanking, just because you have so much rage and never really rage starved, so you're able to spam your heroic strike. With that being said, I also use a macro for a BloodThirst macro. It's nothing too it's nothing too significant, but it allows for a little bit easier targeting and attacking. So it's just a BloodThirst with a start attack macro. The next thing that I highly recommend is an equipment of your main hand weapon and your offhand weapon. This is just something so that you could swap between your shield and your Fury Prot threat tanking gear. I'll throw that up on the screen as well. Otherwise, we're just going to jump right into what my rotation typically looks like. So first off, anytime in a raid, the first thing that I want to make sure that we have up is Sunder Armor. We require all of our warriors when they're charging in, running in, whatever that they do, is for them to Sunder Armor first. Typically, before they get in, I can maybe get 1 or 2 Sunders off before they all jump in, and there's 5 Sunders on the boss. This way, I could always prioritize using BloodThirst, Revenge, and Heroic Strike. Typically, that's all I'm using. That way, I can maintain as much threat and DPS as possible. A lot of people ask if I use Demoralizing Shout or Thunderclap. I use a Thunderfury, so there's really no point for a Thunderclap. And then the Demoralizing Shout, we actually have one of our Fury Prot off tanks spec'd into improved Demoralizing Shout. That way I don't have another GCD to use, so he just throws it up there. As for the Sunders, most of the off tanks are maintaining the Sunder Armor for me. That way I could just keep using Heroic Strike, BloodThirst on cooldown, and Revenge. I'll show you guys a quick clip of our fight for Vale. You can see at the beginning I pop Recklessness, and I actually get unlucky with a couple dodges, but I try to maintain that rotation with Sunder, BloodThirst, Revenge, and Heroic Strike. It's a little bit more difficult when you're raid leading, just because I'm trying to focus to make sure that all the guys that with Burning Adrenaline are out. Making sure that everyone's, below me on threat. Otherwise, it should be pretty easy for you if you're just a main tank and you don't have to focus on any of those things. But, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any comments, questions, or any other videos that you guys would want to see, I'd be more than happy to dive into them. Like I said, this quarantine gives me a lot of time right now. So, hope you guys are doing well. Take it easy.